Some months ago, I made a video where I reviewed the first episode of Violetta, and now I'm going to review the first episode of Violetta season 2. And the last video I did because it was 10 years ago since I first saw it, but this video I'm just going to do because I want to do it. Now, since I have done 2 review videos before, I know how hesitant YouTube is to upload them. They are very quick to block the video. And you might wonder why, considering that I have made a bunch of out of context videos and that has been fine. And the reason is because the out of context videos have clips from different episodes, but when I make a review, I have a lot of clips from the same episode, and that makes them think that I am trying to upload the whole episode, when I'm just trying to make a review. I'm pretty prepared for this. I think I know how to edit the video in a way that I can fool the system by using mixes of like looped clips and sometimes using just screenshot pictures and so on, and occasionally I have to cut to a black screen if I feel really unsure. And I hope it won't take 40 attempts to upload like one of these videos. So, a brief history with me and Violetta season 2. I love season 2 so much. I think it's the season that I have rewatched the most times in my life. I would say that season 2 is when the story starts for real. Season 1 is essentially just a prequel. Season 2 is the main story and season 3 is the sequel. I was also extra hyped for season 2 because, as I have mentioned in previous videos, we got the show a year late, so by the time season 1 aired over here, season 2 was already airing in the other countries, which means that I spoiled myself of everything that was going to happen, but I also didn't understand Spanish at the time, so it was still very out of context for me. But nonetheless, I couldn't wait for season 2 to come out. And then, 1 month before season 2 was supposed to air on TV, they made an advertisement that you could watch the first episode of season 2 in theaters for only a weekend. An exclusive sneak peek of the first episode of season 2. You bet I want to see this. I doubt that anyone thinks I'm lying because it would be a pretty weird lie, but to give you proof, here's a Violetta magazine that I have from 10 years ago, and on the very back of it, here's an ad for Violetta in theaters, only the weekend 20 to 21st of September, and it's the first episode of Violetta season 2. Exclusive previews with interviews, follow backstage, sing karaoke, and the Violetta quiz. I don't remember that Violetta quiz, but I remember the karaoke part and I remember the interviews. It was dubbed interviews. I just want to say, the concept of letting a bunch of V-lovers into a theater together is such a chaotic decision. I mean, if you would let a bunch of V-lovers come in today in a theater, that would be pretty interesting, but back then it was little girls between the ages of 8 and 12. But because I saw the first episode in theaters, that just enhanced my experience so much more. And so every time I rewatched the first episode of season 2, I just get reminded of sitting in that theater salon and seeing it for the first time. What I'm going to do now is having a review of the episode and afterwards give some extra thoughts I have about the episode and season 2 in general. And while I give this review, I will also give some fun story times about when I saw this in theaters, because I remember it very vividly. The episode starts with, first of all, the theme song being 100% better than last season, and that is because of one tiny little thing. Tomas is gone. If you stumble across this video and you have never seen Violetta and you wonder who Tomas is, you don't have to know. And if you're really curious, then you can watch my review of episode 1 of season 1, because he is in there. But he is gone now, and things are looking so much brighter. Seriously, the sun is just shining. So Violetta starts by looking over the balcony at an airport where she talks about the break being over and school is starting again. And she is much happier than what she was a year ago. She is here at the airport because she is waiting for her best friend Francesca, who has been in Italy over the break. However, she discovers that she is late, and what is interesting is that she exclaims, "Oh no, I'm late as usual!" But the thing is, Violetta isn't a character that is usually late to stuff, or is she? I don't really recall Violetta being a character that is always late, but maybe I just missed something. Anyway, she runs towards the signs with all the planes that are arriving, and she starts to daydream a song. This song is awesome and all, but I need to tell you a story time of when I first saw this episode in the theaters. Basically, every single child in the audience, we understood that this was Daydream. First of all, because Violetta is looking directly at the camera, and second of all the other characters show up in different airport outfits, and we know that no one is working at an airport, so we know that this is just her fantasy. However, as all of us were laughing about the fact that we saw Leon in a pilot costume, for some reason we thought that was hilarious, there was one girl in the audience who seemed to have not realized that this was a daydream. You see, as Violetta is singing, you can see Francesca in the background, and that, if anything, is an indicator that this is a daydream, because Violetta doesn't even recognize her at all. She's just there smiling in the background and dancing with everyone else. But this girl, when she saw Francesca, she just started talking to her friend and be like, "But wait, Francesca is over there. Doesn't Violetta see her? Wasn't she waiting for Francesca? Can't she see Francesca dancing next to her? I don't get it. She was looking for Francesca and Francesca is there. Well, why can't she see her?" And then the song ends and Violetta comes back to reality when Francesca in reality calls for her.
Vilu! Violetta!
And when this moment happened, this girl just goes, "Oh! So it was a daydream!" And we all just internally facepalmed. Moving on, Violetta and Francesca are reuniting, they are hugging and they are matching, both wearing pink. It's so cute. And as the girlfriends are being girlfriends, we see a new character in the background. This, my friends, is Diego. He is speaking on the phone with a stranger. We never find out who he is talking to. I have my theories, but it can really be anyone. Here is the thing. Him and Francesca have the exact same suitcases, and he lets go of his and accidentally grabs onto hers. And let me tell you, he is the reason that I always cling onto my suitcase every time I go traveling. Violetta and Francesca also get a bunch of girls running up to them and asking for autographs, and we find out that they are the most popular people at Umix. Umix, if you didn't know, is a website where both of them, together with their classmates, got famous last season. We then cut to a motocross field, where we meet the characters Leon and Andres. Andres is trying to hit on a girl named Lara, we won't talk about Lara in this review because she is not relevant until some episodes later. But we find out that Leon is interested in motocross, or he has started to have a passion for it over the break. And tonight Yumix will have a party where you are supposed to dress up in 70s and 80s clothes. But Leon isn't sure that he wants to go because he does not really want to meet Violetta, because they ended last season with her saying that she neither wanted to date him or Tomas. Leon still thinks that Violetta thinks this, but here's a secret. During the break, Violetta changed her mind and she is now certain that she wants to be with Leon. Then we meet up with Broadway and Maxie. They are walking in the park because Broadway wants to talk to Camilla. Camilla is babysitting her cousin, or is it her nephew? This is hard because some translations say that she's babysitting her nephew and others say that she's babysitting her cousin. The thing is, Camilla later says that she has sisters, so we know that she has siblings. But I headcanon her as being the oldest sister, and she has several younger sisters. I think Eva and Ada from Soluna are her younger sisters, but that's not relevant right now. But what is the correct answer? The correct answer is cousin. Broadway is saying supremo, but it can be mistaken as he is saying sobrino. A similar translation error happened later in the season when Marco is going to spell out Francesca's last name. Francesca's last name is Caviglia, but in Spanish, when you say V, you say uve, and it sounds like UV. So in some translation, her name is spelled with a U in the middle, but it's supposed to not be a U, it's just a V. Anyway, Broadway really wants to talk to Camilla because she is apparently mad at him. You may wonder why Camilla is mad at Broadway, because at the end of the last season, things seemed to be good between them. And the only reason that I can come up with is that in the last episode of season 1, Camilla thought that Broadway was going back to Brazil after the year ended, and he wasn't. And he confessed to the boys that, I'm not going back to Brazil, but I'm not gonna tell Camilla that. So when he surprised her and told her that he was in fact staying, she got mad at him for lying to her. Also, everyone in the theater laughed so much when Maxie got a ball hit. There is something with Maxie and kids. He just cannot get along with them. We then cut to Nati and Ludmilla runs like an NPC across the way to steal Nati's ice cream. She does this because Nati apparently has not answered when she called, and that is because Nati changed her number because she needed a break from Ludmilla and Ludmilla couldn't handle it. Ludmilla cannot function without Nati, as she is so desperate for her. And she needs Nati so much more than what Nati needs her, honestly, but the two of them also kind of need each other a lot. We then cut to the Castillo house, and Ramayo is back from his vacations. Olga starts to give him gossip over what's been happening in the house over the break. You see, Violetta's aunt Angie still lives with them, and there has been some moments between her and German, but they haven't really come anywhere.
Angie?
Anyway, we see German and Angie bicker about Angie wanting to serve him tea or coffee and him getting mad because he doesn't want tea or coffee, and she gets mad because he doesn't want tea or coffee. And it's such a weird argument. What is happening? Why do you want to serve him tea or coffee, Angie? You're not his stay-at-home wife. We then have Francesca and Violetta at school, and this is such a sweet scene because Violetta goes to the piano and starts playing Ser Mejor. And then she starts singing. And then her and Francesca's vocals together. And then everyone else joins in. It's so perfect. I love this scene so much. It always hits me in the feels. The teachers come in and they welcome all of them back, and they talk a bit about the party that's going to happen tonight, but they notice that Leon isn't there. But Andres knows where Leon is and he tells them to follow him. They need to convince him to sing at the party. I forgot to mention all of them are going to perform at the party, and so they kind of need everyone. Next we cut to Diego, who is trying to find his key, and so he opens the suitcase and it says "not your bag" on it, which is kind of hilarious.
Francesca, Quinteros 3200.
I searched up that address and I got pictures of tobacco, so yeah. We then cut to the teacher's lounge where Angie comes in and Pablo is so fucking mad at seeing her. He is super cold towards her. He thinks that she's being unprofessional because last year she missed a bunch of classes. And it's such a 180 flip because last season it ended with him being so proud of her Angie and seeing how good she was about her job, even with all the hardships she faced. Pablo's behavior in season 2 is such a mystery. We then get introduced to a new teacher at the school, Jackie. Pablo has known Jackie since before, and so he hugs her and is very happy to see her. Then Angie is introducing herself to Jackie, and Jackie gives her this look. And I don't know about you, but this is not a look you give to someone you just met. Which makes me have some theories that Angie and Jackie have known each other before, but they pretend to not know each other. And if they don't know each other, I think that Pablo may have gossiped a bunch about Angie to her, and so now she has a predestined opinion about Angie. My other theory is that Angie and Jackie used to date, and they are bitter exes now. Anyway, Andres, Camila, Francesca and Violetta go to the motocross field, but Leon can't hear them because he is riding on his bike right now. They notice that the drivers seem to focus on signs that people hold up, so they figure out they are gonna need a sign, but they can't get in. So Francesca has an idea. Violetta dresses up as a worker to get inside. This is a bit surprising from Francesca because she is not usually the person that makes up the crazy plans. That's usually Camilla that does, but I guess they sort of switch off. Anyway, Violetta comes in and she tries to put up a sign when she falls down on the track. Almost gets run over by a bunch of motocross cyclists, and then Leon has to stop to help her. Everything is okay though, and Leon and Violetta talk, and Violetta convinces him that he needs to come to the party tonight. He is hesitant, but he agrees. We then cut to Gregorio at the psychologist. Gregorio is a character that got fired last season, and his scenes at the psychologist usually goes the same every time, so I won't comment a lot about it. I just want to say that I laughed a lot more this time than when I was a kid, and he ended the scene like this.
Sigo esto.
No, es de mi tía, Gregorio, por favor.
It's so random, like, I did not appreciate Gregorio as a child at all, but now when I'm an adult, I really can appreciate how weird he is. We then cut to Diego and he's trying to return Francesca's suitcase, and he's yelling at someone in the phone, and we don't know who he is talking to. We never will. I have a theory on who it is, and it's someone that we find out later that he knows. Anyway, when someone doesn't open for 5 seconds, he just leaves again. And right then, Francesca and Violetta arrive and they see him go away with her suitcase and they are like, what the fuck? My suitcase! But Diego had seen a ticket to the Umix party that night, so he knows where Francesca will be. So he's gonna show up again. Then Francesca and Violetta are in Violetta's room. I just want to say that there are scenes in between this. I just skip some scenes. For example, there are scenes with Jade and Matthias, and I just don't care about them so much, so I am skipping those scenes. But now Francesca and Violetta are in Violetta's house in her room, and I guess they are talking about Francesca borrowing clothes, and they talk a bit about Leon and about how Violetta feels about him, but I don't care. Because all I can focus about is the fact that they are holding hands and they are hugging and they are matching clothes and they are so cute together, and I don't know what was I talking about? Look at them, they're so cute. As Francesca leaves, Violetta sees a photo of her family from this summer. Angie and German comes in, and while it is a cute moment of the three looking at the picture and being like, oh yeah, we are family, it also plants the seed that, oh, doesn't it look like Angie is Violetta's mom right now when she stands next to Violetta and German? What if she and German got married? Oh, what a thought! We then cut to the party, and Andres is not allowed to come inside because they think that his outfit is like not accurate for the 80s or 70s. And like, how do you know that someone in the 80s didn't wear a sweatshirt that says 80 on it? How strict are you about the dress code? And Angie is also taking Violetta to the party because she's a teacher. And when German sees Violetta's 80s costume, he's like, it's so tight, it's so provocative. Like, shut up. She is going to the party with her aunt. And she does not look provocative at all. She's wearing rainbow socks. Violetta arrives at the party and Leon sees her, and this happens.
Lástima que la perdiste.
All of them then perform Ser Mejor, and it is so funny that Leon takes Tomas's lines too. He is truly gone. Then, as they all dance, Jackie randomly comes up to Angie and asks if she has a problem with her. Like, Angie has said hi to her at most, and like Jackie is like, do you have a problem with me? Do you have a problem with me talking to Pablo? Like, again, either Pablo has told her all the gossip or she and Angie are exes. And then Pablo shows up and she's like, Angie, what is your problem? Jackie is really nice. What is wrong with you? And like, can everyone stop gaslighting Angie? She's just trying to have a good time and you are acting so hesitant towards her for like existing. Then we cut to Violetta at the staircase and a disco ghost comes up beside her. I'm just kidding, it's Leon. They have a cute moment and Violetta drops her shoe like Cinderella. Leon picks it up and it's supposed to be that he drops it again, but he literally throws it away. So like, what was up with that? Anyway, as he throws it, we get the most iconic first meeting ever.
¿Esto qué es tuyo?
And that scene is where the episode ends. And that, my friends, was episode 1 of season 2 of Violetta. The second this episode ended, I just wanted to watch episode 2 right away. Because I know how wonderful of a time I will have watching season 2. Season 2 is in a lot of ways the rainbow season for a lot of different reasons. Both because there's so much happy vibes going on. The sun is shining, there's so much color, and you just feel this warmth watching it. Especially in the first 10 episodes of season 2. I also call it the rainbow season because there's a lot of queer vibes and it's queer vibes between a lot of different characters. There's vibes between many of them. You could even say that the vibe is, I have a harder time really summarizing my feelings this time, because when I reviewed the first episode of season 1, I talked about how much this whole show means to me. But this time we're just going to talk specifically about season 2, and I just get so excited by its existence that I have a hard time really expressing myself. But season 2 definitely has the most memorable and iconic episodes. It's the season where I have laughed the most. It's the season when I have become the most angry. It's the season where I have cried the most. And it's the season that, as I mentioned, I have rewatched the most times. I don't know what it is, but season 2 just gets me on another level that the other seasons don't. And I think it could have something to do with the fact that I first of all was so excited about it because we got it a year late. And also because I saw the first episode in theaters. So the first episode of season 2 just makes me feel more. It's also the episode where the least bad things happen. Because in the first episode of season 1, there was a lot of arguing. Violetta did not feel well. And the first episode of season 3, I just felt like something was off with all of the characters. But in the first episode of season 2, something was just so perfect. The characters had grown, but they hadn't grown so much that they became odd and a bit out of character. They were in their prime time. Okay, not all of them, but a lot of them. Not to mention the songs in season 2 are my favorite songs in the whole show. They also have great covers, like the piano ser mejor in this episode. They have the most intriguing storylines. Diego is such a better rival than Tomas ever was. Diego can also get on my nerves a lot, but the difference here is Diego is supposed to be a bit annoying, because Violetta at first is pretty annoyed with him, and then she slowly falls for him, even when she doesn't want to. And at the same time, we as an audience starts to fall for him, even if we don't want to. I think it's also because it is very clear from now where the show is heading with Violetta's endgames. In season 1, it was a bit more unclear. It was supposed to be Tomas actually, but they just did not portray it very well, and then Tomas' actor didn't really get into the role very much, and that's why it just fell flat. But from season 2 onward, it's pretty obvious that Violetta wants to be with Leon. She is very sure of it now. And instead of Diego being someone that makes her go, oh, I don't know who to choose, like it was in season 1, he is more of an obstacle for her. He actively sabotages it for her and Leon, so that she starts to fall for him instead. And even when Violetta does fall for Diego, it is still that she cares a lot more about Leon, but it's more that she wants to forget him that she starts to date Diego. And I do like Violetta and Diego's relationship for what it was, because I always knew that they wouldn't be endgame. I mean, I would argue that any pairing where one of them kisses the other without her consent in front of a live stream should not be endgame. And if you really want them to be endgame, you first of all shouldn't do that, and also you shouldn't make the other romantic option better in every single way. And I don't understand how it can be so clear the first time that it wasn't okay and that these two will not be endgame, but the second time it happened, it is suddenly endgame and it suddenly is romantic. These are the same writers. You're supposed to evolve with every show you're writing. Why are you going backwards? Sorry about that, I got a bit sidetracked. I feel like I'm just repeating myself over and over again, but I just love season 2. And this probably is my favorite season 2 opening in any DCLA show. It makes you feel nostalgic for the previous season, even if you just watched the previous season if you're watching on streaming. Tomas is gone. We got a great moment with Leon and Violetta. Francesca and Violetta spent basically the entire episode together, so that's more content for them too. The performances are great. And we have a really iconic first meeting between Leon, Diego and Violetta. Is it perfect? No. I still think Angie needs justice. I miss Braco and Napo. Where are they? They disappeared. I completely skipped over Nati and Maxi's argument that they were having. German is still the worst, but everything positive just makes this so enjoyable. And I'm just thinking back, when I was a little kid and I saw this as a sneak peek in theaters, the experience just became so much better than if maybe I had watched it for the first time on TV, which I know that I would have loved too. But seeing it in theater as a sneak peek just made the experience a little bit better, because then I knew what would happen before anyone else in my country. What do you think about season 2? What do you think about the first episode of season 2? Do you agree with me, or don't you like season 2 at all? Tell me your thoughts in the comments. And I'll see you next time. Goodbye.